Hey, Maura Marksteiner here. Today we are going to talk about the holy grail of natural living, and that is getting a deodorant that actually works. For some reason, this is like the hardest thing to do and to find, and it's something that comes up in events and when I'm working with people and doing consultations, they're always asking me about deodorant. So I thought I'd make a specific video on it because I'm going to tell you some little secret. I haven't used a conventional deodorant in like 15 years. It might be 17. I'm not really sure. I've lost track at this point, but it's been a long old time. And I have never had any complaints that I smell, except for like obvious times, like after working out or something like that. And so along the way, I've found lots of great things to work, and I wanted to share some of them with you today. The reason why I stopped using conventional deodorants is because they weren't working for me. It was like a moving target. Sometimes they would work, sometimes they would stop working. And then I would be like, okay, what made that not work? And I never knew what was making those not work. The other thing is that they were staining my clothes. So like the shirt that I have on today right now, I would never have been able to buy or wear that for more than a few wears before it started making pit stains on my clothes, which is a waste of money and disappointing when you have a shirt and you feel so limited with the colors that you can wear. So that was another reason. And then also I started to learn about the different health concerns of regular deodorants. Most conventional deodorants have aluminum in them and other ingredients that have some serious health concerns. Some of them have been linked to cancer. Some of them are neurotoxins. Those are the toxins that specifically affect your brain. Some of them are endocrine disruptors, so they're messing up your hormones. And when you start messing with your hormones, you start messing with your sleep, you start messing with your metabolism, you start messing with your mood, you start messing with all of the systems of your body. Because your body is like a system of systems that all play together. And it's really important to keep that in mind, that there's never just one thing that's being affected. It's never just your lymph nodes. It's never just your thyroid. There's always other impacts. And then on top of that, I learned more about the functionality of conventional deodorants. Most of them are antiperspirants, and that means they will hold in or stop the sweat. Now, sweating is a natural detox function of your body. And if your body is doing it, it's doing it because it needs to do that. So your toxin, your waste, your just natural waste that is supposed to be coming out is still there. And if you have an antiperspirant on it, it just gets reabsorbed into your body. And as a woman, or even men, you got to keep in mind that that's where a whole host of lymph nodes are, and then that has to go somewhere else. Does it go down? Does it go into your breast tissue? It for sure goes somewhere else within your body when it should have gone out. So that's just a little thing to keep in mind, that antiperspirants aren't good for you, and some of them may be making you actually sweat more. So if you're using a conventional deodorant and you're using an antiperspirant, you might be feeling like you sweat more when it's really the deodorant making you do that. So you might have just an unrealistic idea of how much you sweat. In my 17 years, 15, 17, who knows, I have tried all different kinds of things. I have tried everything from the natural food store. I've made my own. I've used powders, I've used gels, I've used creams, I've used like all kinds of stuff. And yeah, a lot of it didn't really work very well. And I've made my own. I don't do that anymore because it's a pain. It's a pain to make your own everything. So I'm going to share some of the things that worked for me. There are 5 things, though, that you want to keep in mind whenever you're switching from a conventional to a natural deodorant or starting to look into using a natural deodorant. And the first thing is to be realistic about your smells, like when you're going to smell. Nobody's expecting you to smell really good first thing in the morning when you wake up. And nobody's expecting you to smell really good when you're coming out of the gym. So that's probably not the best time to evaluate your natural deodorant. Evaluate it at other times. Now, if it's working at that time, then that's an extra super duper bonus. But it's unrealistic to expect a natural deodorant or any deodorant to completely eliminate all smells all the time, even at your stinkiest. So just keep that in mind. The next thing to know is that what you are putting inside you makes a difference. So moving away from processed food as much as possible, making sure you're drinking lots of water, taking it easy on some of those other drinks that might be gumming up your body, like sugary drinks or caffeine or alcohol. Not that you can't have any, but like just keep that in mind. If those are your all-day beverages, you might want to replace some of those with some water. And then same with your food. Because like I was saying, your body is a system of systems, and extra stinkiness or extra sweating can be a sign that one of your systems is having trouble, and it's affecting some of the other systems. To that note, the doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality pack, supplement kit that they have is amazing for this. It supports your entire body working to its best ability. Same thing with like putting a little lemon in your water will be really good. And you may notice that as you're making some of these really subtle changes that you just smell less or smell different. The third tip is that it's the bacteria that smells, not the sweat that smells. You don't have any smell in your chest. You don't have any smell from your back. It's all coming from your underarms, and that's because there's very special bacteria that lives there. And so that's just going to affect kind of how we get at finding a good option for you. The fourth tip is that detoxing your armpits may help. I think it helps. I mean, why wouldn't you want to unclog one of your main detox pathways, making sure that it's as clear as possible so that it can be letting out as much as possible and doing its job to the optimal function. And I'm going to give you a recipe for detoxing your armpits, tell you how to do that at the end of this video. And then the fifth tip, and this kind of ties into with the bacteria and like all of these other things, is that this is a highly individualized situation. Just like anything else with your body, like what works best for you might not work as well for your neighbor or for your friend or your spouse or your best friend or your sister, but it's all worth a shot. And hopefully we're going to cover some oils that you already have that are easy to get. Obviously, all of your oils are easy to get, and just give you new ways to use some of the stuff that you already have or some of the stuff that's already coming your way. All right, so some things that I learned throughout this process was how my body responded to different like textures. My body does not like creamy. Anything creamy, so like those wide deodorants, they don't really work very well for me. Baking soda, my body does not like baking soda. If you've ever had inflamed armpits, you will know that it is a special kind of hell. So not something I'm willing to go and do. And of course, you know, certain things make you sweat more. Like I said, the creaminess makes me sweat more. So it was a mind shift whenever I started to look at other deodorants and think, oh my gosh, my deodorant actually could be doing double duty and like actually doing other good things for my body. In that case, I don't mind putting it on before I go to bed and then not smelling as much when I wake up. So that's one thing to think about, and that's one of the great things about oils and about a couple of the other things I'm going to talk about today is that some of these things are going to do multiple things for you, and it's worth it to explore them for that. The last thing that is a tip or something that I kind of noticed as I was creating this class is that I kind of use things on a rotation. Not an intentional, like I do this for 4 days and then I do this and then I do this. It's like every day or just some kind of like either do the easy thing that like I did yesterday and like not think about it, or like maybe I just am being a little bit more intentional with how I want to smell. And I have several things that I know work well for me. And I think that rotation also helps get at the perspective of that we're dealing with bacteria, and that's why you smell. And so just kind of mixing it up for yourself and mixing it up for the bacteria kind of helps keep on top of the effectiveness of all of those things. All right, so now for the good stuff. Some of this is going to be oils and some of this is not going to be oils. So I'm just trying to teach you all the things that worked for me so that way you can know all the information that I have. One of the first things that I found that works, that is a double duty thing, is magnesium spray. This is a magnesium oil. You can get a spray at your natural food store usually. If you can't, or if you don't have easy access to one, this is from a website called healthandwisdom.com, which is a Missouri company, and they have lots of great options for magnesium. So I had no idea that this did this whenever I got it. I got it for sleep for myself, for my son. It's also great for sore muscles. Magnesium is an essential nutrient, and it has over 300 cellular functions. So this is definitely doing double duty times 300 for your body. And you can use a spray like this as your deodorant, just to spray it underneath. I would say that this is a light option. If you're a person that does not smell a lot, this could be a great option for you, even just from the context of magnesium is important to have in your body. And probably not something I'm going to use though if I'm going to be working out or if I'm going to have if it's really hot out or something like that. If you are already taking a magnesium supplement, you would want to skip this because you don't want to overdose on magnesium. So the next thing that I have used pretty much this entire time that I've been away from conventional deodorants has been the deodorant crystal stone stick thing, however you want to call it. This has been really effective and really consistent for me. And it's just, you open it up. It's a little hard right there. You run it under some water and then you apply it. So like I said, it's been really consistent for me. I've been pretty happy with it. I think they're like $7-10 or something like that to get these, and they last forever. A couple tips is that because it's wet whenever you're putting the top back on, I like to store it upside down because then the water doesn't pool at the bottom, and I had some problems with mold in the past. Some drawbacks though is that it's really heavy, so you can't just toss it in your purse if you're going somewhere overnight. Or if you want just like some light backup. It always needs water, so you can't just like slap it on in your car. And if you drop it, it breaks. You can still use it when it's broken, but then you have to start like feeling and seeing if there's any sharp edges so that you don't scratch your armpits. Like I said, special kind of hell to have sore armpits. And if I do have that, I just like file it until it gets ridiculous and then I throw it out because it's cheap enough to replace. So this is one that's always on my rotation. Okay, so now let's go to some oils. The next oils I'm going to talk about at the time of this recording are not actually available on the market. I hope that they do come out so I got these oils on a 200 PV promo, and let me just go into that a little bit more. If you don't have a membership and it's a month where there's a 200 PV promotion, that's a great time to get your membership because you get extra free stuff. If you are a person who has a membership but doesn't order regularly every month, do order on the 200 PV promotion months. Even if you don't know what it is, you will start seeing people talking about it in the different Facebook groups and different places, and you'll start to learn about what these oils are for, and you might end up finding that you're really, really happy that you have it. And these oils are the ones that I'm really, really happy I have. I was aware that they were deodorizing oils, but that's not really why I got them. I got them for some of the other health benefits for them, and I've been really happy with those, but I also had no idea that they would probably be one of my favorite oils or a couple of my favorite oils for deodorizing. So this is the Monica oil. It's the Monica Touch Stick and the Litzy oil. They came together. Wait, here we go. They came together. I use them together. I use them separately for deodorant. Either way has been great. And with the Monica, because I want to keep this touch roller kind of clean and don't want to rub it all over my stinky armpits, I rub it on my hand and then rub my armpits and then do it on the other side. With the Litzy oil, because it's in a bottle like this, is really easy to make a roller bottle. And I call this my stinky roller bottle. I just know that it is the one that I use on my armpits and on my feet. And I use it on my feet for some other health benefits that Litzy has. But now, since I have this roller bottle, it's really easy to just toss in my purse. And if I end up sweating more or, just getting even just kind of nervous, I honestly have never checked myself and said, oh my God, this Litzy's not working. I just feel nervous sometimes about it. And so I can safely and with confidence put this on and know I'm not hurting my body. And then also it kind of works on those nerves too. So it's doing double duty, and even more than that, if you have some time, look into what Litzy does. It's a pretty amazing oil. So definitely grab those 200 PV promos whenever you can. and just use it as a learning opportunity. Be really excited and can come on to some great solutions there. All right, so more oils. Now these are ones that are available all the time. The next oil that I saw in research is Whisper, and this blend is really amazing for people of all genders. It's called the women's blend or blend for women, but they're not going to check. Anyone can use it. Any age can use this, but this is particularly good for balancing and supporting good hormones as well. So that's something that is nice to have supporting you all day long. All ages too. We all have hormones, no matter what your gender or your age is, and Whisper blend can be really, really nice for that. It's also a great mood blend. Speaking of mood blends, Serenity. It was also one that I saw as an option there. Now, some people feel like Serenity totally knocks you out. And so that's one thing you want to kind of keep in mind, that oils balance you, bring you into balance. But if you've had maybe a sleepless night or are just going through a really stressful time where your body's natural balance and natural inclination is for you to sleep, and Serenity usually does that for you, but it's not a great time to sleep, this might not be the best oil for you, or it might be good for some days but not others. So you can keep it in your rotation, but just be aware of that. I have seen some people get really sleepy with certain oils because that's where their body needed to go. So another one that you could use though is Elevation. So Elevation is a great blend. It has lavender in it. It's just kind of uplifting, kind of sweet, kind of really, really nice. The next one that was a super surprise to me whenever I heard, I actually learned this at the meetings that we have every month, and a woman shared that the thing that she has found that works better, even better than doTERRA's deodorant, is the Breathe Stick. So this is kind of jelly if you don't already have one. Mine's kind of deep in because I have been using it. And when I use it, I just kind of stick my finger in, just get a little bit on my finger because a little bit goes a long way, and then rub it on my armpits. And I do that. You could probably just apply it directly, but I use it like that because I still use this on my kids and on myself whenever we need it for the more traditional use of it. So, and I have used this at times in the morning. The time that I use it the most is in the morning. Whenever I wake up, I go for a walk or a run in the morning, and I'll put that on ahead of time. So I've got double stink going on then, and it works. It still works. So like, it is one of those bonus ones that actually works. And when it comes to singular oils, there are definitely things that you probably already have on hand and can use. And the nice thing about this is you can mix things up and like see what you like, and it's kind of fun. So some oils that I saw in my research that came up several times from several different sources included lavender, lemongrass, Melaleuca, which that makes sense if we're dealing with like bacteria, then Melaleuca seems like a good go-to. Geranium, cedar, and eucalyptus. Now with with lemongrass, with Melaleuca, with eucalyptus, and even with the Litsi oil, I would definitely mix yourself a roller bottle where you're diluting the oils. To use any one of those or any combination of those just neat on your armpits would probably be really, really intense, and just dilute them. They will work great when they're diluted. I think in here I have maybe 20 or 30 drops. So that's about a 15% dilution, 10 to 15% dilution, and the rest is filled up with fractionated coconut oil, and it works great. A blend recommendation or combination that I really love is a lot of lavender and a couple drops of cedar. So it just gives it like this, I don't know, something about them blending together is really, really nice. So I'll do like 8 drops of lavender and 2 drops of cedar. All right, so now let's go on to the armpit detox that I promised you, because I know you really want to know about this. This is something I learned from Wellness Mama. Actually learned about the magnesium spray from Wellness Mama too. It's a great blog and resource to check out for all the healthy living stuff. I learned tons from her, and she's a well-cited source, so I love that as well. So she had a recipe that she made up using bentonite clay. Again, local local natural food store. Should be is pretty standard stock item. Or online, always. So I use about maybe 2 tablespoons of the bentonite clay, a splash of apple cider vinegar, and a splash of water. If you go onto her website, you will see she's a little bit more specific with the measurements. I just can't be bothered to to do that. If you're new to it, I would maybe err on the side of a little bit bigger splash water versus apple cider vinegar. And then when you start mixing it up, I find a chopstick works really well. When you start mixing it up, it'll be a little lumpy, and then suddenly it'll just smoothen out and become like the texture of sour cream, and it's awesome. And then I just put that on my armpits. I actually use it, I'll do everything at once. So I'll do my armpits, and then I'll do my face too. It's a little bit more intensive a mask compared to the doTERRA mask. The doTERRA mask is more gentle, and if I'm not doing my armpits, then I'll use that on my face. Anyway, I'll mask both at the same time. If it's your first time doing under your arms, you want to maybe just do it for 5 minutes and see how it goes for the next couple days. If you notice any like detox symptoms or anything like that. If you don't, then work your way up to 10 or 15 minutes and enjoy. I do that about once a week. And I notice less smelliness. I notice just like less sweatiness at night, and all kinds of stuff. And bentonite clay, if you don't already have some in your house, is just an amazing thing to have in your house. It's a great healing mask for, any kind of injury or sore. I get really chapped lips in the winter, and I actually have a little bit of this mask made up and kept in the fridge, and every day I put a little bit on, and it keeps that chappedness at bay. And even when they are like bleeding and disgusting, it's the only thing that will heal them, and heal them very rapidly. You can also use the bentonite clay on your hair. Some people use it for other health concerns too. So that's a fun thing to read up on, and check out Wellness Mama's, what she has to say on bentonite clay. So I hope those things help you with your deodorant and finding natural solutions to get away from those nasty, disgusting conventional deodorants and into some things that are going to do double duty for you and for your body, so that, why wouldn't we want to do that? Let me know if you have any questions, if you have anything to share. I would love to hear how this worked out for you, and look forward to it. See ya.